Hello there, everyone. Hi, I'm Dr. Tharp, board certified internal medicine physician, and I am here tonight to spread the word. I'm on a mission. I am here to help you reverse prediabetes and type 2 diabetes naturally. So, one of the big things that I want you to understand is that you do not have to rely on medications to get your blood sugars down. I think that's one of the biggest myths that we want to debunk tonight. And I want to empower you with just some nuggets of knowledge so you can go ahead and make an attempt to reverse prediabetes and type 2 diabetes naturally. At least take those first steps to start working on getting your blood sugars down. Now, if you have any questions as we go along, if you have, any input, any tips, then please feel free to jump in. Please feel free to make your comments. Please feel free to ask your questions. I appreciate you guys who have joined already. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen in. So remember, if you have any questions, please feel free to jump in, and there will be a Q&A session at the end of these quick tips that I'm going to drop in. All right, so the first change that you want to make, okay, so get your notepads out, take this note, and I want you to actually follow through on these tips. So one of the first big tips is you have to overhaul your nutrition. The key to reversing prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, at least 80% of it, is your nutrition. And if you really want to overcome prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, then you're going to have to start treating your food as medicine. If you absolutely want to avoid being on medicine, relying on medicine, and eventually, needing more and more medications, then you're going to have to start treating your food as medicine. So, one of the first big changes that you're going to have to make is you are going to have to cut down on those carbs. Now, when I say cut down on carbs, I'm not talking about eliminating carbs altogether. Carbs play a very important role in our bodies for sure. But you're going to want to focus on very specific types of carbohydrates that are going to benefit your body and are really going to help you and your blood sugar. It's going to provide the energy you need to function through your day. And okay, I see there's no sound. Let's see. Um, can everyone hear me? Um, Can you hear me now? Okay. All right. So we'll carry on. It looks like I'm having a little bit of trouble on the Instagram live, so I apologize for that. But one of the big changes that you're gonna have to make is by choosing the right carbohydrates. So the right carbohydrates are your complex carbohydrates. So the type that you want to cut out are obviously your white rice. You probably know this already. You want to cut out your white bread. You want to cut out all those crackers, the saltine crackers. You want to cut out. Those are all, they don't benefit your body in any way. And all they do is spike your blood sugar. The minute you eat it, it becomes sugar in your blood. So you want to cut those out. Now, what another type of carb that I advise you cut out are those whole wheat breads that are marketed as healthy. The truth is, they're not very healthy. Most of them aren't. They're marketed that way to get them sold off the shelf, but they're really not that healthy. So whole wheat, if you are going to have whole wheat bread, you want to check for one thing, and that's that it has enough fiber in there. Fiber is a critical part of the diet and is a critical part of reversing prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. It's a critical component of keeping your blood sugars down. So if you're going to eat bread, you want to make sure it has at least 5 grams of fiber in each slice. So write this down. Do that this week. If you have white bread in the house, then this is it. You should be having it no more. Okay. If you're going to buy bread, you want to buy bread that is whole wheat and has at least 5 grams of fiber per slice. Ezekiel bread is also a very good option. Okay. So remember, bread, you want to go for high fiber content. That's the key. The higher the fiber, the less it will spike your blood sugars. So that is one big key. Now, the other types of carbohydrates that you can implement into your diet is your sweet potatoes. That's another big one that is high in fiber, high in antioxidants, high in vitamins, high in vitamin C and other vitamins and minerals. So the big thing here is you want to limit your carbs to those high quality carbs that are really going to benefit your body, not lead to those high blood sugar spikes. And whatever those carbs are, they must be high in fiber. So that is one of the key points to take away. If you're going to have a carb, it should be high in fiber. Now, the second big change that you need to make is we as women are not getting enough protein. Okay, we're not getting enough protein. Protein is key as well to blunting blood sugar spikes. We have to make sure every meal has protein in there. So if you want to know how much protein, it's all about your body weight. Okay, what your goal body weight is. So you want to have at least zero point 0.7 grams of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So that is your goal. Now that should end up being at minimum 100 grams of protein a day. So most people are not getting enough protein. So protein is also a critical ingredient when it comes to reversing prediabetes and type 2 diabetes naturally. Another big thing that I want to stress is you must be eating. Okay. So if you aren't eating, 3 meals a day, you're doing yourself a serious disfavor. You want to make sure that you are nourishing your body, that you're nourishing your body with high fiber carbs, complex carbs as in its natural form, and high protein meals. Okay. So that is the key. Now, the other misconception that a lot of people have is that you should cut fat out completely out of your diet. No. So that is wrong, but you want to cut out the bad fats, okay? So there are good fats and there are bad fats. We want to focus on consuming good fats. So what are your good fats? Those are the unsaturated fats. So those are your avocado oil, olive oil. Those are the fats that you want to focus on, and actually should be the fats that are exclusively in your diet. The unhealthy fats, so fats that are found in cheese, saturated fats, those are the fats that you did fried foods, baked goods, all of those tend to have the unhealthy fats in there. So if you really, really want to overcome prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, you're ready to transform food into medicine, then you 100% want to cut out the junk food, the junk fats out of your diet and implement healthy fats. So if you get the gist now, there's a pattern here. You want to eat lower carb. And if the carbs that you are eating, you want it to be complex carbs and you want it to be high in fiber. Okay. You need to be eating more protein. Okay. And you need to be eating more healthy fats. Those are the key ingredients. Now, another big point I want to add is the veggies, right? So if you've looked through your meals, let's say for today, if you've had 3 meals for today, Have you had a vegetable on all your meals, on all those plates? If the answer is no, that you had vegetables just in one meal, then it means that is something you have to change. It means that's one of the places you're going wrong. There should be vegetables on every single plate throughout the day. Now, you probably hear this all the time, but what I want to affirm for you today, what I want to confirm is that is the natural way to reverse prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, is having those vegetables on your plate. Now, ideally, you want your vegetables to be low carb vegetables. So, those low carb vegetables include kale, very high in antioxidants, very high in magnesium, very high in fiber. So, kale is really important. Arugula is important. So those are the spinach is also very important, very high in your micronutrients that are needed to heal your body, to drive insulin sensitivity. So it's really important that every one of your plates that you have throughout the day, all your meals throughout the day, have a vegetable on there, and it has a low carb vegetable. Okay, so that is how you're going to build your plate. That is the big change that you need to make this week. You need to do an audit of your kitchen. In that kitchen, you get rid of the junk. So we talked about the white bread, the white rice, the pasta, the things that don't serve your body, that don't have enough fiber. Those are the things, the carbs that you need to get rid of. Okay, so go through your kitchen, get rid of those, and replace those things with high fiber complex carbohydrates. So think of things like Ezekiel bread. Think of things like sweet potato. That is what you want to do. Replace your salad dressing with avocado. You can make your salad dressing at home with avocado oil or olive oil. So you want to stay away from the processed salad dressings, and you want to incorporate healthy fats into your diet. And the healthy fats that are out there are your avocado, olive oil, avocado oil. Those are the healthy fats. You can also get healthy fats from protein. So salmon doubles as a healthy protein as well as a healthy fat source. So that provides your omega 3s. So that is also an important source of healthy fats. Your nuts, also a very healthy source of healthy fats. So you definitely want to incorporate nuts into your diet, nuts and seeds. Okay. So that is pretty much, the steps that you need to take this week is to go through, do an audit, put vegetables on in all of your meals, get rid of anything that is a white carb and replace it with a high fiber complex carb, and put a protein on your plate with every meal. So with that, that's my tip for tonight. And now I'm going to open up before we close for questions. So if anyone has any questions, please go ahead. Any questions or comments, then please go ahead and let me know. Lots of kale, spinach, and arugula. Awesome. Awesome. Salmon. Yes. So tortilla wraps. So tortilla wraps, I would not recommend. They have the ones that are even marketed as low carb. Those I don't recommend at all. The tortilla wraps are loaded with carbohydrates, a regular one. Some of them will come with some fiber in there, but it's super processed. So the tortilla wraps are not a good option at all. Now there are some tricks and trades out there to make your own wrap. And so you can Google them, but there are ways to make your own healthy wrap. For example, there's one that uses spinach leaves and cottage cheese. So there are some hacks out there that you can use to make your own wrap that would be high in protein, high in fat, in fiber. But I wouldn't recommend tortilla wraps. So that's an awesome question. Um, awesome question. And nuts. Okay. Yes. So you love those salmon and nuts. So awesome. So you are getting in your healthy fats. All right. Are frozen veggies better? Are frozen veggies better than canned? Absolutely. 1000% frozen veggies are the way to go. And that's actually an excellent question, too. So just be sure that the frozen veggies that you buy don't have any hidden sauces in there. Some of them will have hidden sauces, will have sugar added to it in some form or the other. So if you can get the raw frozen vegetables, that's an awesome option because it retains all the vitamins, the minerals, the antioxidants, and it lasts a whole lot longer than buying the fresh vegetables. So that's an excellent point. The canned veggies are not good. Very likely been put through such a process that it's stripped down to the bare minimum. So it really doesn't serve your body. So what should we look for in sliced bread other than non-enriched fiber? Definitely fiber. So you want to make sure it has at least 5 grams of fiber per slice. And Mediterranean diet is excellent. What I will say is the diets that I use with my clients is actually very much focused around the Mediterranean diet. So each of the women that I work with, it's a very personalized plan. So we have to kind of cater to their bodies and their needs, their metabolic needs. But 1000%, the Mediterranean diet is an excellent foundation, excellent diet. Um, so that's a good question too. So some would argue keto diet. Keto is low in carb, and I do encourage limiting carbs. But what we find with the keto diet, it is unrealistic. It's unrealistic, and it doesn't focus as much on the type of fats that you should be eating. So a lot of people get into trouble on the keto diet because they're eating the wrong fats. They're eating all the wrong stuff to get all of that fat into their diet. About cereal and milk. Okay, so cereal is where you can get into trouble as well. So cereal is loaded with There's a lot of marketing gimmicks out there that tricks you into thinking cereal is healthy, and it's actually especially a trap for those with insulin resistance. Cereals are pretty much loaded with carbohydrates, hidden sugars, and are highly processed. If you're going to have a cereal, any kind of cereal or something cereally, you should go with steel cut rolled oats. That is what you should be eating. You can't go wrong with that. Not the very fine oats. You want to go with the coarse oats, the one that's high in fiber, higher in protein. So cereals will get you into trouble, and generally, I advise stay away from it. Milk is a good option. It can provide you with lots of it can provide you with the minerals that you need. It depends. Sometimes we'll go with a full fat, sometimes we won't. I think milk is fine, to be honest. If you're lactose intolerant, you can go with lactose free. So I think milk is actually okay. You might want to go with a more low fat options initially when you start your journey out, but low milk is absolutely fine. It's the cereals that will get you into trouble. Um, what do you think about turkey bacon and turkey sausage? These questions are really good. These questions are really good. So I don't like those. Those are the bad sources of protein. They're not good sources of protein. They're highly processed. And these processed meats are not only bad because of insulin resistance, but it's bad because they're associated with cancer. Colon cancer it contributes. There's a risk of developing colon cancer there. So I would actually get rid of those processed meats. Go for actual turkey. So if you can go with your ground turkey or you can go with your actual turkey, meat. So I would stay away from bacon. And bacon is bad not because of the fats, it has bad fats in there. It's loaded with salt. And a lot of people who are struggling with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes also have high blood pressure. So it really doesn't serve your body at all. What if they're uncured and known? Yeah, I still would stay away from them. They're still processed. So I would absolutely stay away from those. So if that's one change you can make this week, I that's one of the changes I would make if that's something you're eating regularly. So awesome questions. And it's definitely not a good source of protein. So good sources of protein are, real meat. So you want to have your chicken, your turkey, your ground turkey, or actual turkey. Egg is an excellent source of protein, and you can have egg with the egg yolk. Sometimes I would advise to have like a whole egg and then egg whites on the side. So that's also an excellent protein source. So remember to fit a protein in with every meal. And also remember that breakfast does not have to be just eggs, it can be any kind of protein in the morning. So don't limit yourself. Okay, good. So, what are good fruits for type 2 diabetes? The good fruits for type 2 diabetes is your what we say low glycemic fruit. So in the Reverse Her Challenge, which is my initiative where I work with women to reverse insulin resistance, I have a nutrition guide, and it's basically a list that tells you about the fruit and the glycemic index. A low glycemic index fruit is a fruit that won't spike the blood sugar as much. So, for example, berries are good options. Berries are low glycemic fruit. So, your strawberries, your raspberries, your blueberries, those are all excellent fruits to have for type 2 diabetes. As for example, a banana is a high glycemic fruit. So, unfortunately, banana is not a good option. So, if you're having, for example, smoothies and you are having bananas in your smoothies and you notice your blood sugar is spiking up, that is why, because the fruit isn't a good option. Mango is also high glycemic. So, mango is not a good option. What's a good breakfast for a pre-diabetic? So a good breakfast for someone who has pre-diabetes is something that's protein heavy with a complex carb. So you can have, for example, a slice of Ezekiel bread with avocado on it, and a whole egg with a cup of egg whites. And that would be an excellent breakfast for someone with prediabetes or even type 2 diabetes. That one would not spike your blood sugar as much. So you want to make it more protein heavy. Yeah, okay. So, and this is something a question I see all the time. So, you say 3 meals a day. Sometimes it's hard to swallow 3 meals. So, how do you get to the point of 3 meals? So, that's an excellent question, a very loaded question, I would say. So, this is where it comes down to learning more about you as an individual. Everybody is different. Every actual body is different, and so everybody has different needs. So if you're having trouble getting 3 meals in for the day, the question is, how much does your body actually need? If your body doesn't need, 3 big meals for the day, then that's what it is. What you want to make sure of, though, is that you're getting what you need. You're getting the right amount of protein. If you're having 2 meals for the day, you're getting the right amount of protein. You're getting the right amount of fiber. So everybody's different. You might not be able to get 3 meals in because your body, it's too much for your body. But you want to make sure that your proportions of protein, fiber, fats, that they're all what you're giving your body what it needs. So that is where we would sit down one on one typically and figure that out, because there could be several factors there that are causing um, causing you to not be able to eat 3 meals a day, or you might just not need it. Okay, so that was an excellent question. And I actually, a lot of the women I work with actually come to me. Many of them are eating just 1 meal a day when we start out. And by the end of it, they're actually eating 3 meals a day comfortably. So it's just about kind of dissecting things a little bit more. All right. Love the info. Very interesting. I need to change my and kids' whole diet. Yes. So I'm glad that you're motivated from that's why I'm here. I'm glad that you're motivated to change your diet. And I'm glad I hope the information that I gave was helpful, and that these questions were very, very good. Awesome. All right. So join me, every night. I'll be here most nights to answer any questions to help you along your journey. If you want that one-on-one help, if you want to, if you want to have that extra guidance, then I'm always available. Just click the link in my bio. You can always book a discovery call, and that way we can learn more about you and what you need, and we can guide you through that process more on a one-on-one basis. So I will be here every night. Thank you so much for meeting me here, for listening in. And I appreciate if you want to drop any comments, on my page, or send me any messages with specific information that you want me to put out, or content that you want me to make, or questions you want me to address in content. I really appreciate it. So feel free to reach out, and I will definitely address anything you guys need. All right. So have a good night, everyone. Okay.